Time now for our panel's Rants and Raves of the Week, starting with me. So I was watching late into the night after I got home, and I stumbled upon Van Jones, who's a political commentator for CNN, very, very good, and he's gotten even better as the election season has gone on. And he came up with an analysis and a couple of phrasings about what happened on election night that I just thought were dead on. Here it is.
This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes. And Donald Trump has a responsibility tonight to come out and reassure people that he is going to be the president of all the people.
It just struck me. I'd never heard the term before. Maybe it's popular in certain, social circles. I had never heard the term before, and it just struck me as being dead on. And in some ways, I think it's the genesis of some of these, protests that have been going on around the country, including right here.
Wow, so true. And he said that they had talked prior to delivering that powerful statement. He said that they had spoken about everything that night, Twitter, everything, but not race. And so it was important for him to, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah. It's also great to see a pundit speak from the heart. Be candid, leaving nothing on the floor and not trying to trim. That's the kind of punditry I like to hear.
Don't they all do that?
No.
Oh.
Well, you may also recall that early on in the campaign, Van Jones and Mr. Stone got into it about and Van said Roger Stone said him very powerfully. You're talking about what do you think I'm going to tell my son? And they had a really interesting. Everybody else just was quiet, and they had an exchange. Yeah. Which was
he disappeared. He was
and Van Jones is not a political operative.
No. He was.
He's not now.
No, but he gets it.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, what do you got?
I have a rave for Nate Silver. And
really?
Yes, I do. Because there are a number of people who do what Nate Silver does these days, aggregating polls, trying to make sense of them. And he had consistently taken the most cautious position on whether Hillary Clinton was likely to win. He had her at like 65 to 70% going into Election Day. And liberals were freaking out. The Huffington Post actually ran an entire attack piece on him, accusing him of skewing the polls to try to stand out from the crowd. The Huffington Post, by the way, had Hillary Clinton with a 94% chance of winning going into Election Day.
Dan, I'm going to push back on you because I think Nate Silver ended up being part of the problem. I mean, he's been right in the past. He's gotten a huge ego. People check with him every day to see where and he was wrong. He was
no,
wrong.
He was
might
not
have been
wrong.
Closer. He was wrong.
No, he was not wrong because he said over and over and over, when I put her at 65%, that means that there's a substantial chance that Trump might win. And he said that before Election Day.
Still said 65%. Most people look at that and think it's a 65% chance of winning.
Well, that's because they don't understand statistics.
Well, I'll give you that. All right, Callie.
It's not like saying 94%.
Yeah. I have a rant. Once again, Kurt Schilling, I don't know why, has decided to, I don't know what. Anyway, he retweeted a picture of a guy wearing a T-shirt that said, "Rope Tree Journalists, Some Assembly Required." And his statement about the photo was, "Oh, so much awesome here." Later, he claimed it was sarcasm. He didn't really mean it. People should learn how to take a joke, whatever. This is not funny on so many levels. First of all, many journalists were attacked on the scene, and President-elect Trump is going to have to understand when you say this stuff, it gives other people license to come back. And this also has a racial overtone with the noose implication here.
Oh,
That's very, very, well, some people don't know that, they claim. So I'm just saying it for them just to be so we're all clear here, we understand what it means. So this is a guy who's thinking about engaging in politics later on. That's what he says. I'm hoping that, he just, once again, did something that was just off.
Well, like Trump, it may not matter. I mean, you look at what he's done a number. Remember that other meme he posted about when they were discussing the public accommodations bill?
Cost him his job.
It did cost him his job, but doesn't mean he couldn't be elected to Senate.
Well, that's true, too.
We'll see.
Right, all right, Dan.
Well, I have a rant against Bill Belichick. As you know, he sent that letter to Trump, and it was made public by Trump himself, and then several days later felt that he had to clarify what he meant in that letter, and coming out saying that it wasn't political. But as I read the note, short note, he starts out by saying, "Congratulations on a tremendous campaign." Sounds very much like something political there. Takes a shot at the media, saying, "You have dealt with an unbelievable slanted and negative media." And then praises his leadership. "Your leadership is amazing." Goes on to say, "In tomorrow's election results will give the opportunity to make America great again. Best wishes for great results tomorrow." Well, that to me sounds like a political note. And the fact then that he wouldn't even answer the questions of the reporters who kept wanting to find out more and dig, and he just said, Seattle, on to Seattle, Seattle, Seattle. I was just, it made me sick watching that.
Well, he has utter contempt for the media, as we know.
He does. And he took, it was not only political, aimed at his friend, and I get that. I get that you can be loyal. I believe in loyalty, but I think this was not what he said it was.
And yet much of the media are slavish groupies to him. Isn't that interesting?
They are.
No
That's
kidding.
it. Yep.
John, what do you got?
Okay, so I spent all this year on your program dumping on CNN. Justifiably so, if I may say. But I've got a rave tonight for John King of CNN, Dorchester native. Can never mention him without mentioning that he's from Dorchester. Because he has now ascended into the pantheon of knowledgeable experts on American voting statistics, voting patterns, right up there with Michael Barone of the Almanac of American Politics. And on election night on CNN, he was able to explain exactly what was going on and why, in a very fact-based way, all the data websites in the country can't match the knowledge that's right up here in John King.
Totally agree. I'm just right to CNN on election night because of John King.
He's the man.
His show is good, too.
Yeah, it
He
is.
knows how to work that board.
He sure does, man. Never. That's not easy.
It is not. No, it's complicated.
To talk and turn those things at the same time.
I poke that thing at BZ and it just makes a weird noise.
All right.